Hi, I'm Tammy with the Second Time's a Charm. Welcome to my Halloween 2021 video. The theme for Halloween this year is black and white. And these are all going to be thrift flips. And this video is also in participation of the Flippin Friday challenge hosted by Jaime of Border Bananas. This is her channel right here. She does a lot of thrift store shopping as well as some thrift flips on this channel. And then she has a second channel where she does all her DIYs. Both those channel links as well as the playlist link for this challenge will be in the description. So check those out if you want to see what everyone else made. So we'll just go ahead and get started. This little house I got at Goodwill, I think for $1 or $2. I got it a while ago, so I don't remember how much exactly I paid. And all the pieces I'm putting inside of it are from the dollar store, except for the big bat. I believe I got that at Dollar General. And so I just spray painted this house white. It was white before, but I wanted it to be a brighter white. It was kind of a creamy white, and I also just, it was kind of scuffed up and stuff, so I just wanted to make it look a little nicer. And then all these pieces I spray painted black that I'm putting in. I got the majority of these last year, but the skulls in the middle I got this year, so I can't verify that they still have these items or not, but they seem to carry they seem to have some standards that they carry every Halloween. And these snakes were actually in the kids section, in the toy section. I think it was like a bundle of snakes and bugs or something, I don't remember. But I used these on a snake wreath last year. And so I'm repurposing those. And when I was done with this, I touched up the black paint on the snakes that came off, as well as painting over the wire so you don't see it. And I'll have a full reveal of all the projects at the end of the video, by the way, so stay tuned for that. You'll get to see all the results at the end. So this little house, I think I also got this at Goodwill for like $1 or $2. And I taped the roof and spray painted it white. And then I painted the roof black with chalk paint because that was just way easier than taping off the rest of the house and spray painting the roof black. I mean, I only had to do one layer because the roof was already dark, so it was pretty fast. And I did actually keep that little heart that I popped off of this house, and I painted that black as well. So if I decide I want to have this house for year-round, I can just pop the little bat off that I'm going to be adding here in a second and replace it with the heart. The little bat is so cute though. This is actually a ring. Like the spiders and the bats I got in like a party favor pack at Dollar Store, and I just cut the little plastic ring part off. So these wood pumpkins I got at, I believe, Goodwill for $1 or $2. And I painted those black and white, and then these wood cutouts I got at the dollar store a few years ago, and I'd painted them before and made a garland, and I was going to make a new garland out of them this year. As you can see, I was painting them new colors, and I still might do that, but I ended up using 3 of them for the pumpkins instead. And if I would have known I was going to be using them for that, I would have filled in the holes that they have at the top and just spray painted them black and white instead of doing the acrylic paint. But since I thought they were going to be for a garland and I wanted all the paint to kind of, since I was, yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I lost my train of thought, but so I filled in the holes here once I realized I was going to be using them for the pumpkins, and I got that branch from, well, just my general area. I live in a high desert area, so there's a lot of branches like this around, which are very cool. They're kind of artistic looking to me. And this is just some ribbon I had in my craft supplies. I know it's not really a Halloween themed ribbon, but I thought it looked really cute, and you know, who cares? It looks cute. And actually, this is one of my favorite projects from the whole video, because I just think it came out really, really cute. And just a note that I tried to put these projects in order in my video by complexity. And so yeah, as the video goes along, they're going to get a little more detailed, more steps, more work. So I just sanded off the spackle so it was smooth, and then touched it up with paint so you never know that it used to have a hole in it. And I'm just using them basically for wood cutouts on top of these pumpkins. And I just love the black and white contrast with these. I think they came out so cute. So this is a snake wreath that I actually did last year in my Halloween videos. And it was really cool. It kind of gave me Slytherin vibes from Harry Potter. But I decided I'm going to do something different with that wreath this year. And this web that I got from Dollar Tree, I actually had a completely different plan for it. I saw this video by DIY Karem, and I'll link it in the description as well because it's a really good video. But she had taken the Halloween kind of skull bead necklaces and put them on one of these webs and made this really cool like skull web, and it was like painted and glazed, and it was just very cool, but I couldn't figure out how to make it work. I tried everything to get those beads attached to this web, and it just wasn't working for me. So I ended up doing this instead, where I just took all these like little spiders and glued them on, and then spray painted the whole thing the same color of black so they all matched. And then this little welcome to our web sign, which is so cute and is basically the only color that I use in this video, was $1 at Goodwill. The only other color I think is from, I put a plant in one of the projects later. And so that's the only other color besides this orange. And this fabric I took from a skeleton I got from the dollar store. You'll see that later. So this skull head is actually the only project that is not a thrift flip in this video. But I thought I'd include it since it goes with the same theme. And it's just a Dollar Tree skull. I saw, I believe in the same video, DIY Karem, which if I'm saying her name wrong, I'm sorry. She made a skull planter out of one of these, and I thought that was so cool. So I just really wanted to try that. And if you decide to do this, please be careful when you cut out your hole. And, you know, sanding helps with sharp edges and just making it look a little nicer. So I spray painted that white. And then I made a custom black glaze using clear glaze and black chalk paint. I believe she used a dark brown antiquing glaze by Rust-Oleum in her video, but I wanted to do a black glaze because I wanted to do black and white, and I just also thought it would look really cool. I will recommend, if you try these projects, these last two ones, that you spray a top coat on the spray paint after it's dry, before you do the glaze part, because I normally do that, and I don't know why I didn't do that for these projects. I just didn't think about it, and surprisingly, I didn't rub off the paint when I was doing this part of rubbing back the glaze, but when I put the little jade plant inside, for some reason, the dirt like rubs some of the paint away, and I don't think that would have happened if I would have did a top coat. So I recommend doing that if you decide to try this. And you basically just want to focus the glaze into the low points and wipe it back on the high points. So there's a little glimpse of the snake wreath right there because I'm repurposing the snakes from it. And this little birdhouse, I believe I got at the Humane Society thrift store, and it was $1. And I actually had got some birds for this as well, but they didn't look quite right when I painted them in here, and so I'll end up replacing them with something else, you'll see. And I used wire to put the snake's heads so they were kind of going into the opening. And I also used wire to attach the spiders later. And then this little skull bead is from those necklaces I mentioned before. So yeah, you can see that these were rings and I just cut the ring parts off. The bats were the same way. And then I attached them with wire, which worked really, really well. Way better than glue. Because with glue, especially with plastics, it's like a lot of times they can just easily pop off. And this held really well. I do replace that little bat at the top with a big spider later. I kind of wish I would have left the bat because it's super cute, like looking at the video now. But, oh well, that's fine. The spider looks cool, but just saying. So I spray painted the whole thing white. And then I used this same black glaze that I custom mixed. And again, you just basically, you kind of focus on the low points and you wipe back the high points. And I did use a wet, like a damp cloth to wipe back for this one. You can use a dry cloth if you want kind of a different effect. But I wanted to use a wet cloth for the effect that I was going for with this. It's kind of hard to describe for this kind of project. Maybe I'll do a glaze video in the future that goes more in depth on glazes, because I think glazes are amazing. I will say this was definitely the most time-consuming project and the messiest by far. Because I had to glaze every single part of this cage, otherwise it just wouldn't look right, to have like crisp white floor or back or whatever compared to the rest, which I was trying to make look kind of dingy and old. So I had to cover everything with glaze and wipe it all back. And I didn't wear gloves for some reason, which would have been a good call because my hands were pretty bad when I was done. I had to do a lot of washing. But the effect came out really cool. And with the top coat, if I would have done a top coat on this, like when I was wiping back on these spiders, some of the paint came off. I was able to cover it with the glaze for the most part, but if I would have done a top coat, I don't know if that would have happened or not. It probably would have stayed better. And this is the skeleton I mentioned earlier that I used the white fabric for. I decided to use the skull that came with this in the inside of this bird cage because I just thought it would look really cool. I didn't realize it had this kind of point or whatever on the bottom of its base, and so, but I worked with it. I wrapped this black fabric around it to kind of make a nest of sorts and just put it in the cage like that. You could definitely, glue it down so it doesn't move around. I didn't worry about that. But yeah, I think everything came out really awesome in this video. And I'm really excited I got to do it. Here's all the befores. And here's all the afters. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'm glad I got to share my projects with you. And if you want to see my other Halloween videos, you can check them out right here. Happy Halloween!